we're gonna take you to Key West.
And one of the lesser known keys, Marathon.
Let's go!
One of the things we love about living in Venice, Florida is that we get to take short vacation trips just like this one.
It was about a 5-hour drive to Marathon, Florida. We spent 2 nights in the Keys, and with everything included, it was about a 3-day getaway, but we spent plenty of time there.
On our way to the Keys, we actually stopped by Homestead, which is a pretty cool town. There is a lot of different markets along the side of the road. Look at this jackfruit, holy cow. And this one's called Robert Is Here, and it's very famous.
We saw a bunch of Google reviews on it, and I was like, this seems like it's kind of a big deal, so we had to check it out. They have lots of different tropical fruits. As you can see, some different sauces and stuff too, but I wanted to try some different tropical fruits. There's a lot of these different type of tropical fruit farms, and then there was also on the side of the road some like Cuban food stands and all kinds of stuff. It's a very different vibe. It felt like a different country almost. I saw this in the Google Maps, and I really wanted to try it. It's supposed to be like big.
We stopped in Key Largo because we kept seeing food trucks for Cuban pizza and we wanted to give it a try. This one had chorizo on it and it was good, but it wasn't much different than regular pizza.
Then we got right back on the road again, and the drive down to Key West involves a lot of bridges and little islands along the way, but it's pretty neat. This is our second trip to the Keys, and the bridges are actually probably one of the more memorable things that'll stick in your mind if you ever do make the trip down.
And there's only one bridge to get onto the Keys, so if there is an accident or something, you're going to be stuck in traffic for a little while, so that could contribute to your memories.
So we arrived in Marathon and we stayed at this like Airbnb / hotel thing. I think it's a little bit of both. All right, so on the way down, we went to Robert Is Here. It's this like fruit, there was all these different fruit stands in Homestead, kind of cool. Almost felt like you were in a different country. Like they're all over the side of the road, a lot of Cuban like food truck type things. Anyways, we got some passion fruit, the red variety. We got some passion fruit, the little yellow variety. Love passion fruit, especially like in juice. We got this thing. I'm not sure what it is. Leave a comment if you know what it is. I want to say it's like an Asian pear or something like that. This thing, I don't remember. They said this will be ready in 4 or 5 days. It says on it chirimoya. Our dog's whining. So maybe that's the name of the fruit. Does that sound right, Heydy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kumquats. I've always heard about these, but I've never had them, I don't think. Maybe in Honduras. And then a big green guava. I've never had that variety, only the little yellow ones. I forgot what these are called. They're kind of like grapes. Jazz, stop. And then I forgot what these are called, but they're supposed to be like between like an egg and custard and be smooth and sweet, but it won't be ready for a couple days. So maybe we'll get some of that on video.
And this is where we're staying. Dog.
That's being whiny because she's being kept inside while we're out here.
We started making our way to Key West. This is the 7-mile bridge.
And as you can see on the right there, kind of cool, they had a little bridge that goes down into a little island that has a solar power panel. I wanted to check that area out. We didn't, but I do know you can get over there. And welcome to Key West. Awesome place, one of my favorite places in all the United States.
The first time we visited, this was the marina on the right hand side. This was like my favorite view when we got there, just because it was so unique, so cool. And then when we moved to Venice, it's like, oh, we actually have a little marina like that.
Definitely see a lot of similarities after living in a beach town for a while now. But there is nothing quite like the whole Duval Street downtown Key West area. It is one of a kind. You're not gonna find anything that just has the same feel anywhere else in the United States. Guarantee that. And right there you can see the southernmost point of the United States. Although we have a friend that grew up in Key West, and he claims that that's not actually the one. It's just like the one that they have up for the tourists to take pictures in front of.
There is a lot of different restaurants and little shops and even designer stores like Coach and Michael Kors. It's a pretty cool downtown. You do have to pay for parking pretty much everywhere in Key West or near the downtown area.
And it is a little bit difficult to try to find parking a lot of times, unless you come when we did, which is during the summer, during the middle of the week, or even like September, possibly even October won't be as bad. But once you are parked, it's nice because it's an extremely walkable area. Sloppy Joe's bar is supposed to be pretty famous. We haven't been in there yet though. The Key West downtown area has a very unique feel. It's almost like this small town with like a New York City kind of feel with the energy and busyness.
There's a lot of people usually out. It's a pretty cool experience. It feels like a big city on a little island. And here we're walking towards Mallory Square, and that's where a lot of tourists tourists go to see the sunset. There is a sunset celebration every day, and there is a lot of music.
And they have performers and a whole bunch more going on. A lot of street vendors. There actually wasn't a lot of people out there when we went because it was like September and it's like really hot that time of year, so it's not like prime time. But during the winter, there's tons of performers outside and lots of people just to watch the sunset. And there's different little restaurants and shops all tucked within this area as well.
This is the area we mentioned earlier where everyone gathers for the sunset at night.
This was not a particularly good day for it though, because it was a little bit cloudy, so we decided to bail before the actual sunset happened.
And we actually got rained on this day, so.
And last time we were here, I want to say there was some guy juggling like swords and fire and stuff like that. Like there's some pretty cool performers.
Also someone selling coconuts, and we got one, and they cut it up so you can drink the water.
And this little pocket here is kind of cool too. We actually stopped here on our last trip to Key West and we got a mojito with real key limes. It was way overpriced, so I will say that. It was a little cup and you're just basically paying for the actual key limes in Key West.
And then we decided to go out to eat.
And we went back towards more of the downtown area and went to Fogarty's. I think that's how you say it. And man, that was good food.
It was delicious.
And we both got drinks. I got more of like a tropical fruity thing. That was really good. And you had wine.
I had wine.
I got a chicken Philly, which I've had Philly cheesesteaks before, but never a chicken Philly. But man, that was one of the best any kind of Phillies I've ever had. And the fries were some of the best I've ever had as well.
I had some sort of pecan crusted fish, and it was really, really good.
And then of course, when in Key West, you have to have
key lime pie.
Or chocolate dipped key lime pie.
Which I do not recommend. It was really good, but it was just too rich. I think the key lime pie was much, much better.
And we got that at Matheson's, and man, these cookies they had here were absolutely ginormous.
They were a half pound.
So we're here for coffee this morning. This is Curly's Coffee. It's right up of the main highway here in Marathon.
And then we decided to go check out one of the beaches. Now the Florida Keys are not known for their beaches, believe it or not.
Yeah, this is one of the very few we could find, and as you'll see, it is dog friendly, so we could bring our dog out there, which was nice. But wait for it, it's not very big at all. And there was a lot of like seaweed and stuff. I don't know, the water wasn't as clear this time as the time before that we came down, and we weren't really sure why. Definitely had a little bit more of a muddier color to it.
So yes, we didn't spend a lot of time here because really there wasn't a lot of sand that we could relax on. It was just very, very narrow.
We ended up taking a little bit of a walk kind of in that area, more on the mainland though, away from the beach for a little while, and then we decided it was time for lunch, and we said, let's go to a vegan place. We're not vegans, but sometimes we just like to mix it up and try wild new things, because that's just what we do.
So we went to Food for Thought, and this is a vegan place, and we got some coffee, some avocado toast.
I had some like walnut meatball thing. I don't remember what it was. It was like a walnut wrap. Yeah. It was good. It was different. Not the best vegan food I've ever had, but it was definitely really, really good. Would recommend it for sure.
And they also have like a little market, so we bought a few things from there as well.
One other cool thing about the Keys is there are a lot of iguanas, and they're like the size of cats. Like they're huge. And when I say the size of cats, I'm not like exaggerating. The green ones maybe not, but the more kind of like tan green ones, those things are massive, like with the little mohawks. And we had a lot of those hanging out near our hotel area.
Then we decided to check out the aquarium encounters, and that was a pretty cool experience. They had a lot of different fish and alligators, turtles,
all kinds of sea life really. And what made it really unique was you could get really up close to everything. Some things you could touch. It was just much more interactive and hands-on and up close than a lot of zoo experiences that you'll have.
They also had some guided tours, which we didn't do. It's not that big to take a tour, but it is pretty cool to just go there and experience and see all the different sea life.
It's the big ones that you thought were tarpon. One of the cool things when you walk in right away is they had these bridges and things that were neat because you could just walk right through these little pond river things, and there's all kinds of different fish that you could just look down and see and be right above them. So that was kind of different.
They said we could touch them, right?
They also had stingrays, and it was pretty cool because you could touch them. I was actually a little afraid to touch one.
That was massive. They won't eat you. Just wait till they're halfway past and then pet them. That one's huge. Holy cow.
Yeah, see?
They actually have a cuter face than I would have thought.
Makes me happy when I feel bad.
This guy really wants a bite to eat. Give him your finger. The sheer amount of animals that they had in this little place is actually pretty mind-boggling. They had sharks, crabs, lobsters, tortoises, eels, other cruciferous, crustaceous, crustaceans, sea words.
You can also get really close to the water on this bridge here and see fish in their natural habitat.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat too because you can see a lot of fish I've noticed in the Keys that we don't necessarily see like if we go up by the water in like say Venice area. Maybe you could if you got out deeper, but just by the shore or something like that, generally you won't see little striped fish like that.
We used to, in Honduras, when I was little, we used to play like grocery store and those were our bananas. Then we also use this as plates, but they don't look like that. They look more like this. Those are like half dead, so they look more like that.
So we have tortoises in Venice, but not ones quite this big. At least I haven't seen these. These are African spurred tortoises. We have gopher tortoises. This is a box turtle. These are babies though. We've seen them digging holes in our backyard actually. We have these in Venice. It's a common snapping turtle. He's a big boy. He's got some moss on him. American alligators. Not that big. We've had bigger ones in our backyard pond, in the retention pond, but not this many. You only usually see one, maybe two in the pond at a time, depending on how big the pond is, of course. These guys are not babies, but they're definitely not full grown either. They're far from full grown. Then here they had yet another area that kind of tied into like this little lake bog area. I'm not really sure exactly what it was. It's kind of neat and different from most zoos, how it's not just in the middle of this big city and then outside of it's just concrete everywhere. It's like right in the middle of... That's a Caribbean spiny lobster. Look at the size of that thing. Massive. Where a lot of these creatures' natural habitat actually is. Yep. Deep sea giant isopods. And you can touch those. And Heydy said she's definitely going to, right?
No.
Right now, right?
No.
In a couple seconds, right?
Yeah, here.
You didn't touch him. You touched the aquarium plexiglass. That's the eel. See islands all the way off in the distance there, there. And this one obviously is. The water's crazy clear here too.
Then we decided to check out the Florida Keys Brewing Company. Our plan was to grab a few drinks and eat some food.
Yeah, they had like a little Mexican food truck nearby that they kind of always just have stationed next to it, and that food was really, really, really good. I don't remember what I got for my beer. I want to say it was some sort of a hibiscus, like lighter ale. It was pretty good. Also on this island, because this is on Islamorada or near it if I remember correctly, is another brewing company called Islamorada Brewing Company that we're going to go to next.
Yes, and the reason why we wanted to go to Islamorada Brewing Company is because the first brewery company we checked out didn't actually have drinks, and I don't drink beer. So we ended up going to Islamorada Brewing Company, and they did have some drinks.
And they also had nachos with beer cheese on them, which if there's ever a restaurant with beer cheese on, you get the beer cheese. That's a rule.
But Jesse's beer cheese is the best.
Yeah, my world famous homemade mac and beer cheese is legendary. And Islamorada Brewing is actually one of my favorite breweries in all of Florida. Them and Big Storm are probably neck and neck for me personally. And Funky Buddha's got some good stuff too if you're into beer.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Venice, Sarasota, Englewood, Northport, Port Charlotte areas, make sure to call, text, or email us. I am a local realtor here. My information will be in the description box below.
That phone number is 941-221-1897. You can call or text at any time. We hear from people every day and we absolutely love it. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, leave a comment with any thoughts you have, subscribe and turn on all notifications, and live breezy.